so far. We'll restart from 7th spot. That's Dorsey Schrader, and here's John Kernan.
Well, Bob, those that's sitting at home watching our Trans Am coverage, Dorsey provided expert commentary in the booth yesterday with Jerry Punch. A little bit different being up there in the booth like Bob Jenkins is right now and sitting in one of these 3,500-pound stock cars, isn't it?
It's a lot noisier up there. Yeah, you know, in here, you're just in here with your thoughts and you're doing a job and you're concentrating. So in its own way, it's a lot easier, I think, than what you guys do.
I know we're only 6 laps into this race, but what have you seen so far? You like the way the car is working for you?
Car's doing exactly how Barry Dotson and I set it up to do so far. It's a little bit tight early on. That's good because we think it's going to loosen up as the race goes on. Of course, it's cooler today than we thought. That might not be the case, but we can run real comfortable at the pace we were running just then. And if I stay out of trouble all day, we can be a contender on this deal.
I was talking with Irv Hare just a few moments ago. What can you put a comparison in driving one of these 3,500-pound stock cars versus, say, the 2,500-pound Trans Am on a course? Are there any things you can pick up in that Trans Am car that you can apply in this Winston Cup car?
Oh, no question that driving them's the same. You feel pretty much the same feelings through the steering wheel and so forth, but this car you have to conserve the brakes on, no question. Trans Am car, you can run the whole race. It's at 10/10. Just use the brakes as hard as you want, never worry about it. I'm a little bit concerned that some of these guys will be out of brakes before the end of the race, so you have to think about that as you go along. These cars are heavier, but it's all relative. Racing's racing. This car wants the same things that the Trans Am car wants to make it go fast.
What about the way the tires? Everybody's on equal tires, you know, in this series, where Trans Am you can pick a combination. What effect does that have on your ability to race out here?
Well, it takes away your ability to make a mistake on the tire, that's for sure. You know, a lot of the guys in Trans Am go too soft and they got to worry about blistering the tires or setting the pace. These tires are what you have in NASCAR racing, and they're going to hold up. You know, the Goodyear tires will hold up no matter how hard you run. So tires aren't really a factor, other than the harder you run them throughout your fuel stint, the worse they'll be at the end of the fuel stint. We set our car up this weekend to run real strong at the end of the fuel stint, you know, where the car's still got a lot of bite in it. So I think we'll be stronger as we go on than at the beginning.
What about the effect of an in-car camera? I mean, you've got that watching your every move. You have to be a little bit more careful in maybe the beating and the banging out there, don't you?
Not really. You know, once the green flag drops, you quit thinking about all those type of thoughts. You know, on the pace lap, you remember it's there, and behind the yellow, it's there, and you can wave the fans, say hi, mom, and do all the stuff. But really, once the race starts, you're not part of that anymore. You just become part of the whole race.
What about the strategy for this race whenever you finally do get it refired?
Well, we wanted to run hard at the start, and we did. We moved up a couple positions. You know, those first few laps are where a lot of accidents will happen, so we wanted to slot into a comfortable pace. We unfortunately had just achieved that. I had just gotten into a rhythm going where I didn't think I was going to hurt the race car and that we were going to go on. Now we got to reestablish that whole deal again. It adds a little bit of tension, but once we fall into the rhythm, I'm going to ride for half the day. You know, we don't get a checker flag till probably almost 6 o'clock tonight the way it looks with the delay. So no need to be a hero early. You know, I want to try and keep this Pontiac out of trouble and a good showing, you know, for my first debut in the Winston Cup. And if we stay out of trouble at the end of the day, we're going to be good.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorsey Schrader. When we get this race refired, Bob, he will start from the 7th position, and all the drivers are in position. They are in their cars waiting for the command to refire.
And we should be getting that command within a few more minutes while the repairs continue in turn number 5. You're watching live coverage at the Budweiser at the Glen. We have been under a red flag condition for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Rain fade, but car's running great. It's been great. We've been fast at practice the whole time, and the plan is to lead the last lap, and whatever comes in between we'll take. You know, I'm not interested in leading a race right now. I'm interested in winning this thing, and so we're going to keep our tires, you know, on this thing and keep our brakes on it and be ready to go when the time comes.
Yeah, but as a race car driver, you all that competitive edge that you have. If you see an opening, you'll go for the lead, though, right?
Oh yeah, I'll take the lead this first corner when they throw the green flag, if he leaves me open, you know, if I'm there and I can get it. But, you know, I want to win so bad that it's easy for me to restrain myself at the same time. As we get going and the laps start wearing, and the tires start wearing and the brakes start fading, you know, I don't have any problem with saving my stuff till when it counts, and if I have to do that, I will.
Okay, thank you, Mark Martin. The plan is to be a little bit conservative, lead that last lap, win the race. Jerry Punch?
Well, John, we have been able to climb up to the top of the tower. We are up just outside of the NASCAR's control booth, awaiting further information on the status of J.D. McDuffie. But the good news we've gotten just moments ago is that they have called all the drivers, even some of the drivers who are back in the garage area, back to their cars and told them to get buckled up because they are about to complete, I understand, the repairs at the crash scene. So they have called the drivers to their cars. In fact, let's check on the crash scene. Let's go over to turn 5 where Ned Jarrett is standing by.
Well, Jerry,
Ned?
the safety vehicles are moving away from the crash scene now. They have completed their work, so they're headed back to the pit and garage area now, so we should be able to get this race started very soon.
And certainly the enthusiasm and the spirits of the crowd have not been dampened because they are ready for some action. As I indicated, we began the red flag at about 1:17 Eastern time. So as the engines are fired now and the crowd gets ready to see some racing action, we have been under red flag for about an hour and 50 minutes. We have completed 6 laps. 90 laps comprise this race, and at the moment the pole sitter Terry Labonte is the leader of the event as they get ready to move away. Benny, how has the crowd been down there in turn number 1 where you are?
Well, Bob, they all wanted an autograph, and I went down and signed a couple, and they yelled and said, okay, 2 minutes back on the air. So I ran back up to my position, what it was 2 minutes to an update. So I left all the people standing down there wanting autographs. So I guess when the race is over, I'll have to go back and get back to Bob again. You want to come down and give me a hand?
You'll probably be there for 2-3 hours because everybody down there is going to want your autograph.
Yeah, as popular as I am, that'll take about 5 minutes, right?
That's right. So the safety vehicles are indeed moving to their positions around the race course while the fans are getting set for the restart of the race. There's the pace truck that will lead them around for a lap or two and then give them the green flag to resume our racing action.
Bob, I wouldn't be surprised if the cars don't get the green flag the first time by. As Ned Jarrett reported, everything's okay back in turn 5. The racetrack is clear, so I think NASCAR would want these fans to see as much green flag racing as possible.
Well, let's hope that's the situation. Behind Terry Labonte as we restart the race, it'll be Mark Martin running in second. Third is Ernie Irvan. Fourth position would be Ken Schrader. And fifth spot will belong to the number 11 car of Jeff Bodine.
Right now, they're going to have to sit and let the cars run for a little bit. You mentioned this red flag has been for 1 hour and 50 minutes. The engines have cooled down. The oil, the water has to be heated back up before these cars come back around and take the green flag and start accelerating. So that's why they're sitting there now, is to get all the lubricants good and warm, because that is essential in a racing engine.
And we're watching Lake Speed as he gets set to go in his Trop Arctic Pontiac, one of our in-car cameras. Other in-car cameras are being carried by Dale Jarrett and Dorsey Schrader. There's Jeff Bodine as he gets ready to restart this race. As we mentioned, Jeff and Brett grew up just a few miles down the road from Watkins Glen in Chemung, New York. Jerry Punch now with